Welcome, Murder SCHMURDER listeners, to the first ever Murder SCHMURDER Telethon, where we need $10,000 for our first ever sponsored limousine. Now, we can't return to our normally regular scheduled podcast episode until we get that $10,000. Joseph, tell me how we can get there.
Jamie, I'm so glad you asked. Here at the Murder SCHMURDER Telethon, it is important to stress that you are not going to stop hearing this exact thing episode after episode. All the phones are ringing off the hook because people want us to stop doing this. It's really important that not necessarily that we get our limo, but that we stop doing this. And we're not going to stop doing this until we get our limo. In fact, I think we should hear from a caller.
I think we should too, because God help it, I can't stand this much longer, Joseph.
I have honestly, we've already had 3 of the people who are like acting as our callers, like our call loggers. They've just off themselves. And I think the doors are locked from the outside. I've forgotten how we got here. I've forgotten how long we've been here, actually. So you know what? Let's get a caller on.
Yeah, please shut up.
Yeah.
Caller number 1. Or actually caller number 4. Please speak up.
Hi. Caller number 4 here.
Caller number 4, is that your legal name?
For these purposes, yes.
What a coincidence.
Caller number 4, please tell us that you'll just give us $10,000 so we can cut this insane idea out.
You know, I've been listening, and I gotta say, I really fucking hate what you're doing right now. So I am happily willing to give you $10 in order to get closer to your goal.
That is good enough.
1/1000th of the way there. And you know what? If we keep up with those kind of calls, we're going to actually break even. We won't lose money by hiring all of these people to play these noises with their mouths.
Now, please keep calling in. The phones are ringing off the hook.
We're desperate to hear from you. We're desperate to stop. So please email us at don'temailtrashville@gmail.com. We will email you a link to call in, and then you can actually call in. Come to think of it, we probably should have set up an actual phone tree for this.
That might be a good idea. But now, on to the episode.
What am I supposed to do with tossed salad and scrambled eggs?
And welcome to another episode of Murder SCHMURDER. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Oh, man. Who would have thought that Murder SCHMURDER would have themselves a Fraser reference?
I mean, look, landing, stuck. I mean, come on.
That was very good.
That was a lot of breath. I'm not going to lie.
You guys really stuck it out. We're proud of you guys.
Yeah, honestly, while we were like trying to ferry this thing along, I felt like I could feel you guys like, anytime now. All right. Lungs are straining, kind of burning.
I very much had a moment of like, I really kind of want to stop doing this.
I was jamming. I don't know about you.
Austin's like, we'll just keep doing this.
It's the whole podcast.
I was made for mouth jazz bass.
Mouth jazz bass. What a phrase.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's what they called me in high school.
I hope not.
You have so many nicknames from high school.
Buddy, I've lost count.
None of them stuck.
Me too. Actually, I've
They
also
kept
lost
forgetting
count.
who I was.
Every week he's pitching a new one. And we're like, huh? Mouth,
No.
mouth
That's the
bass,
thing.
Jace?
They're pitching the new ones. It's just like I just get a new one every week. And
Okay.
it goes back to the whole I'm rubber, you're glue kind of thing. You know?
Sticks and stones.
Just fucking bounces right off of me because I'm bulletproof.
Don't like the sound of that.
Jamie, I think you have our opening bit for this
I do have an
particular
opening bit.
episode.
I need the pooter, though.
All right, Pooter coming back at
Okay.
you.
Oh, this is Joseph, by the way.
Oh, yeah. I'm Austin.
Thanks for the fart noise right then.
Well, he said he's.
You know what? You're right.
This was just
Joseph,
bad
that's
timing.
rude. That's very rude. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
No, I see where this is going.
No. See. That
I was born at night. It wasn't last night.
That was just bad timing. He said that he was going to give Jamie the pooter, and so and then
The pooter. No, that's all right.
Right. But then went.
Are you fart-filled chuckle fucks, huh?
This is Jamie.
There you go. Grant.
And I'm Grant.
God.
What?
I think I'm Austin for today.
I believe we also have a special guest.
Yeah,
today.
We have a
Yeah,
special
we do.
guest referee.
We have our in-house producer joining us this time.
Hi, everybody.
It's Grace.
It's Grace. My lovely, lovely, much better half.
Can confirm.
I don't know
I
why
wouldn't even-
he's
yeah,
like
Sips whiskey.
I wouldn't even
That
call that a
Kool-Aid
half.
gin.
This is barrel-aged gin,
I'm
sir.
so sorry. This is classic.
Is that barrel aged gin from the one and only Corsair Distillery here in Nashville?
You know what? For the sake of this, yes.
If it is, Austin, can you tell us more about Corsair?
No way, because barrel-aged gin is one of my favorite products over at Corsair Distillery. It is a gin that's aged in our rum and rye barrels. We have a dark rye that we age for a year. We have a spice rum that we age in the dark rye barrels after the rye is done. Then we age that 7 botanical gin. And that rum and rye barrel gives it its distinct, almost whiskey-esque flavor.
It's very close. Easily you enjoy it on the rocks.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? If you want to add a little bit of tonic, so be it.
You could,
know?
and it's delicious.
A little bit of soda, and it's fun.
Honestly, you could edit it to I would say 95% of gin cocktails just for a little bit more distinction.
Oh, hey, baby, a bee's knees
A bee's knees.
with Corsair's barrel-aged gin. Come
Fucking
on.
knee slapper is what
That's
that
right.
one is.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You could even make an old fashioned out of that gin.
You can.
Yeah.
I've done
one
it before.
Yeah. I make one I make a hanky panky.
Oh, yeah.
2 ounces of the gin.
That's a great idea.
Ounce of sweet vermouth, quarter fernet. Especially for the fall weather. Perfect. Anyways, Jamie.
Do you think it'd go well with milk?
You know, I bet you could make a milk punch.
You
That
could.
actually sounds pretty good.
Actually, you could make a good milk punch.
Yeah.
I was about to leave, and then you.
Nah, it's okay.
That's what I do.
One of my coworkers.
You know what I did? Corpse Reviver right there with the barrel-aged gin.
Yeah, you did.
Fantastic.
That's true.
One of my coworkers, she was saying how she had tequila at her house the other night. She came in hungover, and I was like, "What'd you do last night?" I was just drinking with my roommates. I was like, "Oh, what were you all drinking?" I was like, "We were drinking tequila." And then she kind of stopped, and she was like, "But we ran out of mixers, and all we had left over was milk. So I was doing shots of tequila.
What?
chased with milk."
What?
And I was like, "Yeah." I was like,
Like dairy milk?
"Yes, bovine."
Like cow juice?
Oh
Ew,
my god.
cow juice.
And I was just like, "What? Why didn't you just do it by itself?"
Yeah.
But she was like, "Milk was all I had." I was like, "What? You didn't need the milk in the first
You could have just not drank it.
But what about pickle juice? That would have been better.
You don't. You're telling
Yes,
me
it
that
would.
you don't
Like,
have tap
worlds
water.
better.
Yeah.
Water in it.
Yeah. Or just have a glass of water after your shot of tequila.
Exactly. You
You know?
worry about things in the
Wait, how old is she?
in your water. That's what the
She's
tequila's
22.
for.
Yeah.
22. She's 22
That's-
years old.
Oh
That's
my
fine.
God.
that's
Straight
fine.
to jail.
Yeah,
Straight to jail.
Yeah.
jail,
Honestly, yeah.
Undercooked chicken, overcooked fish, straight to jail.
FBI, open up.
You should lose your license.
Or at least put on some sort of watch list for
Yeah.
milk and tequila. Jesus
Right?
Christ.
Right.
Okay.
God.
I'm going to
Tequila
paint
yourself.
this. Ooh, that was good.
Thanks.
I want to paint you a real life situation that happened to me.
Okay.
The kind of rabbit hole that I went down, and I want to hear your opinion and kind of how it coincides with the true crime community.
Oh, so this is not porn centric.
No, but this
Got it.
did really happen to me.
Well, let me take my hand out of my pocket.
I cut a hole in it.
And theatrics.
The date, sometime 3 weeks ago on a Thursday. Jamie walks into an Office Depot because he has to do some scans for the podcast. He sees a cute girl. She's right across from him. She's got a kid. Jamie starts macking on the girl.
Just my type.
Just my type. Just make the kid laugh, and I got my in. Jamie does a great job. He's unsuspecting. It's just a normal, everyday situation. They hit it off. He gets her number. And he asks, "What are you doing? What are you working on?" "Oh, I'm a model." "Oh, that's cool." Gets her number. They split ways. They start texting. Jamie's like, I wonder if she really is a model. And he Googles her. And then he finds out the truth. I found out on Scoop Nashville that she had
Very
thank you.
Yeah.
She had I think it was like several felonies, specifically for speeding on Briley by like over 20 miles an hour.
To get to her modeling gig?
Several felonies?
Yes.
Well, in her defense, Briley is the most fun
It's the best.
road to speed on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it is.
And apparently the
Until you hit that one like Bolivia hatch under the bridge.
Or if you've got a trailer
They
full
just
of
fixed
bullshit and you're only going 55 because it's not safe to drive faster than that,
Yeah.
it's horrible. Everybody else is like, "What are you doing? I want to go 80." It's like, there's 3 other lanes. It's like,
It's Briley. It's the only road in Nashville that makes sense.
Yeah.
They should really up the speed limit on that one, I think.
Yeah, 55 is not okay.
Not okay.
It should be at least 65.
Or at least like say 55 for the dumbasses, but everybody knows it's a solid 70, you know.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, so in the time that like I'm like
digress.
texting her, I find out that like she has felonies for driving way over the speed limit. I believe if it's over 20 miles the speed limit, it goes into
Reckless
felony.
endangerment.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
And then also it said in the
to
indictment that she apparently
Yeah, log
flipped
that
off
away
the
for
cop
future.
that was trying to pull her over.
She what?
Flipped, like gave the
Oh.
middle finger to the cop and
Nice.
then drove off.
Because that's always a great idea.
Now, on a motorcycle, you can do that,
Yeah.
especially in Tennessee. But
But
You can give a cop the bird on a motorcycle?
What changes that?
it is like a safety law that's if you pull away, and in general, especially in Tennessee, but if you pull away at such a rate, if a cop like hits their lights on you or whatever, and you're on a motorcycle, you pull it away at a certain rate, they're legally not allowed to pursue you because it would put that motorcyclist's life in danger.
and
Nice.
too many others in danger, like
Yeah.
having to weave through traffic. It becomes
Nice.
like a cost versus reward situation.
If you ever see it in real life, a lot of times like veteran motorcycle riders or whatever, if they're like weaving through traffic, it's called like lane splitting or whatever. If they're doing that in such a way, it's not technically legal here. A cop is allowed to try and pull them over. They'll literally put their hand down in such a way of like, turn your lights off, I'm not going to stop, kind of a thing. And then they keep doing their thing.
Yeah.
And the cops just, I mean, they are allowed to pursue you if they want, but that's a lot of paperwork, a huge
A lot of
headache.
hassle.
Most of the time they just stop.
Yeah.
To my
It's pretty
understanding,
dope.
they put that law like in place specifically because too many situations where people like bystanders were hurt, but also the motorcyclist was like hit by the cop car because the cop's like, oh, I can just hit him and then he'll stop moving. But then these
And they
people,
stop moving forever.
yeah, well,
Yeah.
when they live, they can sue
Yeah.
and sue for a lot of
Oh,
money.
100%.
And so that's kind of what
And
happened.
police precincts don't have the money to do that.
No, what if it's
Well,
a cop on a motorcycle?
Some don't.
Some don't.
Then I think it turns
That's
into
just a
that.
fun day.
I was gonna say, I think that turns into that scene from The Matrix
Yeah.
when Trinity's like going like in the opposite side of traffic.
Yeah.
God, I need to watch that movie
Okay,
again.
but to stay focused, I found out that she had this felony, and I saw all of this on Nashville Scoop, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty interesting." The text messages,
Totally not a deal breaker.
it was playing in my mind, like, "Is that a deal breaker?" The text messages fizzled out, but in between that moment and now, the owner / leader of Nashville Scoop, his name is what is it?
A piece of shit, Smith.
Jason Steen.
He's
Close.
so much.
Known as piece of shit Smith.
Dude, I hate him so much.
So Jason Steen died from cardiac arrest at 44 in the time that this happened.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't know too much about
R.I.P.
no, once you hear about the shit that he's been doing,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
might not want to say R.I.P. But nonetheless, when he died, a lot of people on especially like my Instagram were basically sounding off
Rejoicing.
of like good. Like this
Ding dong, the witch is dead. Like,
yeah,
for real.
like people were like, "Thank God this fucking douchebag is dead, and Nashville Scoop can finally like go under."
Yeah.
And this basically unraveled me looking into it and what he was doing, and then talking about like what is the true crime community doing, because technically he is a part of the true crime community.
True.
Right.
He is covering
Right.
crimes that happened, and he was doing something that is
Thank you,
entirely
in-house
in the state
producer.
of Tennessee, entirely legal, which is
Yeah.
when you get charged with a crime, it becomes public record.
Mm-hmm.
And so what he was doing was finding all these people's public records, posting them, tagging them on social media.
Oh.
So,
So
peop-
doxing them. He was doxing
essentially, no, very much so. I don't want to say essentially. He was very much doxing them, putting them out, and there were several court cases in which people basically said like he was extorting me for doing this. So people would reach out to him and say like, "You are about to cost me my job,"
Yeah.
or like there was.
Because we're also a right to work state. So, I mean, that's
Yeah.
a big deal.
So you are costing me my job, potential relationships, yada yada yada. Because now people can look me up and find out all this horrific information when I am not officially convicted of anything.
Ooh, see, there's a distinction there.
So there is a distinction there.
Right.
So in one situation, and apparently this is what he would normally do, there was a guy that was charged for, I couldn't find out what or why. I think the guy wanted it kind of expunged
Hush-hush.
or like
Yeah.
not like shown, but he was charged for apparently something very horrendous, something very egregious in Nashville. He is a Kentucky resident and in court was able to prove that he wasn't even in the state of Tennessee when this happened. But because it was public record that he was charged with it, then Jason posted it on Scoop Nashville with his name, tagging him on it. And he had his own IT business at the time. And so he said he was losing clientele because people were finding out that he was linked to
This
said thing.
charge.
But it turns out he wasn't even linked to in the first place.
In the end, he was not convicted, and the charges were entirely dropped for
He's
him.
acquitted.
Yeah, but the crime still happened. He just wasn't the culprit.
Well, what I mean is that the guy, what it was,
Jason?
douchebag McGee,
Jason Steen.
he put this information out there without it even being true.
Validated.
Did he ever take it off?
So the guy reached out to Mr. Steen and was like, "Hey, I wasn't there. This is about to be acquitted. Yada, yada. Like none of this is true."
Please take it down.
And apparently, he said no, but I'm willing to take it down for $1,000.
Ooh,
And
Fuck.
apparently, he did this to pretty much everybody.
Yep.
But in the state of Tennessee, that is legal. Oddly enough, in the state of Kentucky, that is not legal. It is specifically within the Kentucky Constitution
Interesting.
that
You can't extort money out of people.
essentially, like,
Yeah, I mean, I would consider that extortion.
it is.
Yeah.
It is very much extortion.
blackmail.
But
I
they're
mean-
saying like specifically like Jason can keep it up. Jason can deny him, but Jason is not allowed to say, "I will take it down for an amount of money." So
Jeez.
yeah, which is kind of wild. Like the fact that
that is wild.
that
So as long as there's no like transactional relationship
correct.
that he basically
But that's
forces
just
someone
for
to pay
Kentucky,
him.
though.
That's just for Kentucky.
Right.
Hence why he was able to fly under the radar in Tennessee for so long.
So just to backtrack, so guy in Kentucky, he got convicted but not charged.
charged,
essentially.
not convicted.
Charged, not convicted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that maybe a little jump in the gun there. I think that should be pretty illegal, but I guess it's not.
Not in Tennessee.
It's public record if you're charged with something. It will also be public record
And that
if you're
asshole
convicted of
always did
something,
that
but
shit.
he
Right.
took advantage of the
Like,
public record.
You know, our buddy Steven has huge issues with that
Yeah.
guy.
We know a few
because of
people
a
that have been
very
on Scoop
specific thing.
Nashville
Yeah.
because of mistakes they've made, but it's public record.
Thank God I
So-
wasn't.
Yeah.
I guess
I was kind of surprised that I was.
Also, everyone out there,
Mine was
fucking
pretty
take care of
egregious.
yourselves and be careful.
But apparently, like when he died, the subreddit R Nashville sounded the fuck off on how horrific of a human he is.
Yeah.
I'm
really?
talking thousands of, not thousands, hundreds of comments of basically people saying like, here's all the horrific reasons of why this man deserved to die.
Woof.
But from the Kentucky incident, this happened right before he died. And right now, his estate is facing a lost lawsuit where it's costing them about $365,000.
Hell yeah.
So
Good.
Scoop Nashville has now been taken down. So by the time
Yeah, it's done.
that we're here right now, the Scoop file that I saw of my Jane Doe, what was the Jane Doe name we decided on?
Janet Doherty.
Doherty.
Janet
Dodderson.
Dodderson Doherty.
Doherty, yeah.
That entire file was taken down.
Good.
Yeah, good for her. But just to give you an idea, here's one of the I might read a couple of the comments on the R Nashville post. But one person posted, "I personally know the family of a sexual assault victim of which he published her name and address. He
Fuck.
refused to remove it. He cannot in perpetuity in the underworld. He can rot in perpetuity in the underworld for all I care. Perpetuity. Thank you.
Sorry, yeah, it's
I know.
kind
That's
of
okay.
a reflex.
I mean,
Another one, and this was wild. I was scared of Jason Steen, and I am a very boring, law-abiding person with no skeletons in my closet. which is I don't like the sound of that, but they
Totally
said,
did nothing.
They said I ate all those people and I didn't.
Right.
I saw him
Only
ruin
ate a few of them.
I saw him ruin people's lives just because he could over stuff that was inconsequential or private. He once found photos of a single mom with a joint in her hand and sent those photos to the woman's ex-husband and the judge who was hearing the custody case.
Fuck, man.
He did this to someone he knew and was friendly with. Who would do such a thing? Why insert yourself into someone's family breaking up?
Oh, this
he
is that-
wasn't looking out for the kids. He just wanted to create chaos.
This is that fucker
You know him
in
now.
like elementary school who had the list of everybody's name, who like
Yeah.
and would like go give it to the teacher.
Do you remember Recess, the show?
Yeah.
Oh, he's the
Yeah,
red-handed
yeah,
kid.
Randall.
Yeah.
Randall. Yeah.
Dude, it gets worse. So apparently on Facebook, they had a Facebook group where like people could anonymously say like, hey, I did blank and I feel bad about it. But he was a moderator, and apparently moderators can see
who
through
posts.
the anonymous posts and see
Oh, my
who would,
God, dude.
So he would fucking put people on blast and extort them for the things that they were doing.
Also, fuck Facebook.
Apparently,
Hell yeah.
I'll second
Like-
that.
I
Fuck
can't,
that shit.
I can't find any
So ruinous.
how do I put this? Any proof of this, but apparently he was also extorting people out of nudes. I don't know exactly.
Because of course he was.
Yeah.
mean,
It
that
sounds
tracks.
very like it sounds
It
like
sounds like he got the right comeuppance with fucking cardiac arrest at 44.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell just got another angel.
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds like God kind of coming down from heaven and just popping the dude's heart.
Oh, he just flicked it. He just flicked one of the ventricles and it just like exploded.
so that makes me feel
I
like
think he
God-
just grabbed it and he's like, all right, buddy, we need to have a talk.
God's watching
Oops.
TV and it's on commercial and it's like, oh, I should probably get some work done.
I should probably check in.
Oh God, fucking jerkbag.
The one time he does something good.
But I wanted
And
to
that's what he intervened on too. Like we have so many. Like I'm not saying it wasn't bad to kill this dude. Like good for God, but like we got a few. I got a list
Yeah.
But
of
I
things
wanted.
we could work on.
Did you guys have any, like
Same.
any insight on this? Because
I think
or
the-
like thoughts? Because
I think the moral of the story is mind your fucking business.
Yeah, seriously.
All
If
right.
only
Yeah.
people had
Yeah,
that
some people
capacity.
they make mistakes, and then I would say the majority of them try to move past them. All
That
right,
is true.
so when you fucking post something like that on things that have already happened, on things that I think some of us even here have experience with, we're just trying to get the fuck away from that side of ourselves and move on.
Right.
Yeah.
All right.
I was saying the other day, like, you really, really shouldn't define someone by a mistake that they make. You know, what I mean?
Absolutely.
You at least need to take into consideration all of the other good things
Right.
that they continuously try to do.
I can maybe have
You know?
an opinion after the fifth mistake that
Sure.
that this person makes, especially if it's the same one.
But I mean, if you know somebody
But-
for a long time and they're constantly doing the right thing, or at least very much trying to do so, and then they make a mistake,
Right.
are you going to define that person by that and then, you know,
Write them off.
write them off in that way? And that's exactly what he's doing, but on a massively public scale.
Right. Exactly.
So, like, you could lose your job. You could have a hard time finding another job.
You could lose
know?
custody of your kid.
You could lose custody of your children. Like,
I mean, your life could be over.
Or an abuser could find out where you're now living.
Oh my
and-
God, with the sexual assault victim and releasing
Or-
their name. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
Jesus
fucked
Christ.
up.
And their
Or-
address.
Or any fucking lunatic can find out where
Yeah.
you live. You know, there's some guy that's probably like, you know,
like with a fucking Punisher complex.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mind your fucking business.
Seriously.
Well, it's good.
Have
this
you
guy's
reached out
dead
to her
and-
since?
no, I haven't. But
So-
I did find this very interesting, namely because, like I said, this is another
'Cause it's
part
really
of
funny,
the
yeah.
true crime community, and I think a lot of people forget that the true crime community as a whole is very exploitative.
Yeah.
It can be.
And there's a lot of people that benefit off of the horrendous things of others. I'd like to think that we do a good job of
Making,
making
fun
peop-
of them.
making fun of the horrific people, making people like bringing light to this, and also like making it as funny as possible and being educational as well.
Well, another thing that we do is that we never go on anything too recent, you know, where there's
Yeah.
people that are still
27 years.
possibly mourning the outcomes of whatever they may be.
Dude, that's fucking wild to me that like there are active investigations and people are just like, and then her eyes were cut out. Isn't that messed up? And like
Right.
showing pictures of it.
Right.
Yeah.
And then putting that like on
Now,
like socials and stuff.
I mean, we did do that Domina Cherry one, but she didn't kill anybody. Technically,
She couldn't.
I guess
she tried.
technically-
She couldn't do it.
I guess technically the guy died, but like
I don't think she
Still
killed anybody.
counts.
no. Remember, like she stabbed him, and then like he died later in the hospital for his
Yeah,
from,
but I think
from
we
his wounds.
I think we agreed the nurse probably just forgot to do something.
But more importantly than anything, we came up with our own bird religion.
That's right.
That's
That's
right.
the most
That was
important takeaway.
caca.
And Beaks be with you.
Beaks be with you.
Also, roasting Domina Cherry, that bitch had it coming.
Absolutely.
But I think a lot
Sounds
of
like
She was a dum-dum.
Fuckface McGee also did. So
Yeah, this guy
Yeah.
had it fucking coming.
His karmic debt was.
And remember,
massive.
kids, if you are that kid that fucking writes everybody's name down on a list, you got it coming too.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
nobody likes you.
Yeah.
By the way,
you're gonna get jacked in the jaw, and then hopefully that'll wake you up and realize, oh, I'm being a douchebag. And if it doesn't, you become this guy, and then you die, and everyone
Right.
celebrates.
Then your heart explodes.
Yeah,
Like the doctor pulls in. It literally looks like someone fucking squeezed it.
I don't know how to say
Dry.
this, and I am a doctor, so
there's
take it with a grain of
fingerprints
salt.
on the heart.
But it looks like God squeezed this guy's heart. I don't know what else to say. I don't know. There's like the burning imprint of a hand on this guy's heart. I don't know.
I feel like it's like squishing a tomato.
Yeah.
Just like it pops out the top.
Yeah.
If God was doing it, probably. But it's actually
Yeah,
a very
it is.
strong muscle. It would be very hard to squeeze the heart muscle.
Not if you're
And-
God.
Not if you're
I just said that. For God, yes.
Grace, I don't know if you know this, but God could tear a phone book in half.
I
Maybe two.
yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you
bet he
stack
could
them
do
on
too.
top of each other. He could do it.
He probably could.
Probably. He's like fucking hella strong. Dude.
Yeah.
He is hella strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
he's not
Joseph-
strong, he's mighty. There's a difference.
No, he's hella strong.
yeah.
hella
Ripped,
mighty.
dog.
Oh yeah. God's also super jacked. He's really lean.
Just a total unit.
It's all
mean-
that cross time.
My God is an awesome God.
CrossFit.
He reigns.
CrossFit.
Ouch.
Nice.
Ouch. That hit me right in the Christianity.
Oh, well, people, are we ready to get into the main topic for today?
Oh man.
Boy,
Yes.
howdy.
Well, fellow Schmurdarians, we all know there's a secret cabal of people who run the world, who decide what we're going to watch, when we'll have access to the latest and breaking so-called news. Well, I call it the news because it's always new lies. That's right. A secretive, skull and bone society of shadowy others who host lavish banquets and bacchanalian revelries where they drink their wine from the skulls of martyrs and eat their sushi off the writhing backs of sex-trafficked immigrants.
Go on.
Some people call them the Illuminati.
Excuse me,
Hold
waiter.
on.
My steak
Let me,
is medium, and I
right.
asked for medium rare.
Right.
Reginald, I must come. Where are you? Sorry, that's a fat,
So-
noble British guy.
Everybody listening right now.
Gravy.
I hope that you're in the in your car, and if you are, just buckle up.
Just roll the windows up and
Right.
buckle up. 'Cause you know what I'm listening.
Right. 10 and 2, friends. 10 and 2.
Some people call them the Illuminati, or Obama and the Lizard People, or the Rothschilds and their secret Antarctic Nazi base. I'm just joking.
Or the Colonel
Or the-
in his beady eyes. I always hated the Colonel.
I'm just joking. It's just rich people. That's it. That's all it is. It's just rich fucks.
Yeah, that's true.
But whatever flavor of lore floats your boat, we all know there is a cloak and dagger element to the upper echelons of government, which makes it easier to explain why your life is crumbling before your eyes. That's the power of conspiracy. It explains away the terrifying things in our lives and the things that are too big to grasp, and the enormity of the grinding mill of society.
Oh, you're talking about like the boring and complicated stuff.
Exactly. The stuff where you can go,
That's actually real.
exactly, where you can go, it's not my fault I'm a stupid asshole who crushed my own life into the gutter. MK Ultra programmed me that way.
And maybe your best joke yet. I don't
Thank
know.
you.
I don't know.
But while the power of conspiracy resides in its ability to explain the unexplainable, we don't need to make up shadowy organizations. The awful truth is that Americans are some of the most propagandized people on the planet. If you look at if you look at recent events, it feels like we're barely a step away from hosting our own annual Hunger Games between the 50 states.
We are very close to that.
Actually, that'd be kind of sick. I support that.
I mean, it'd be kind of cool if I'm being honest.
Katniss is in West Virginia, by the way.
Yes, that's right. If you look at our country's adult literacy rates, our infant mortality, and our prison population rates, it's stuff that would make the Harkonnens blush. Thank you, Grace. Come on. But you...
Man.
Was that a Dune reference?
Yes, it was.
That's right. Get Dune pilled, baby.
Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac Whopper. Hamburger, cheeseburger, Big Mac Whopper.
That's what they're saying? I never picked that up.
Makes
You have
so
to
much
listen to
sense
close.
now.
You got to watch it on Max so you can slow it down. And
Austin, if you came up with that,
I did
fucking
not.
Chef's
That
kiss,
is all over the internet.
Oh, okay.
it's really good, though.
Yeah, it's spot on.
For the sake of this podcast, yes, I did.
Okay. Very proud of you.
But if you look at our pop culture and our sporting events, you wouldn't know that. From the latest Marvel movie to any given NFL game, the America First people love crushing Budweisers as $1 million jets zoom overhead. And pretty soon it feels like we're going to have an AI hologram of George Washington rapping about how his version of slavery wasn't that bad.
Who doesn't love that?
Putting on a display
This is all fine so far. I don't understand.
that's more wasteful than just straight up burning an Olympic-sized swimming pool full of taxpayers' money. So today, we're going to talk about one of the pillars that holds up our propaganda machine, the military entertainment complex.
I don't know, dude. It sounds like you're about to start coming after my football.
I was literally...
I will leave.
He touched on it and he moved on.
If I can't watch my Miami
Listen.
Dolphins every Sunday,
I touched on it lightly because I knew this would happen, and I had a joke about Two Tongues Aioli, or whatever his fucking name is.
No.
Come on.
do not.
He's a wonderful man. Stop
He's
it.
probably fine.
Did you just call him Two Son Aioli?
Two
Two
Tongues
tongues
Aioli.
aioli. No.
Do not talk about
Dude.
my
I had a
quarterback.
whole thing that I deleted because I didn't want to have this happen.
You should have left it, but Tua's he's fucking.
He's great.
No, I don't want to say he's great. I'm just saying he's like the infantry of Iraq.
He's like the
just-
juggernaut.
He's just fucking getting. He's in the mill right now, and he's just getting fucking.
I'm the
worked.
juggernaut, bitch.
Real quick.
Yeah, he's
Joseph,
frontline for sure.
Just out of curiosity, what is his full name?
It's Tuatunga Viola
You're
or
close.
something.
So close.
It's
Way
Tuatunga,
closer
right?
than
It's
you would
Tua
get
Tagovailoa.
But his,
I can't say
his
that.
full name is
It's crazy, right?
It's like
Super
40
long.
letters long.
it's
Yeah.
like yeah,
there. I mean, it's Samoan. So,
it's
yeah.
Tua. At least 3 or 4 middle names, Tonga Vailoa.
I thought you were really going to say it for a second.
3 or 4 like
you know it, actually?
Hawaiian
I
middle names.
legitimately don't.
I could not
don't.
pronounce
Okay.
it. to
I was
save my
gonna
life.
say it's
If you did,
it's
I'd been
basically
so
it's
impressed.
a poem in and
Yeah.
of itself.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
It's like
poem.
what
Right.
it translates to
I mean, it's
is
beautiful.
this
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
really incredible
And just
thing.
the way he plays football is just poetic justice. He gets knocked out for 3-4 weeks, comes back, and just
Just keeps on going.
Keeps it going.
I loved him when he was with Alabama.
Yeah.
So
I love
much.
him now.
I love him
He's
now
a
too.
good guy. He's a fucking
And when he's
you know,
on, oh my god, he's so
soldier. He's a fucking soldier out there for
I didn't
sure.
realize I was walking into the Aioli fan club. All right, never mind. Excuse
Aioli?
me.
Oh my
Whatever.
God.
Viola? What is it?
Tua Tagovailoa.
Tunga Valola? Valola?
Tagovailoa.
Tonga Vailoa.
Tunga Vailola.
Yes.
You're yeah,
That's,
you're in.
that's pretty
That's
close.
it?
Yeah.
Just keep going with that.
Yeah.
Moving on. Because it's not getting better.
All right, so we're talking about cop movies here.
We're talking about
We're
cop
talking about
movies.
shoot 'em up, bang bang.
We're talking about Black Hawk Down. We're talking about The Hurt Locker. We're talking about Saving Private Ryan.
These are all true
Hang on.
stories.
Yeah,
Top
but,
Gun.
yeah, but
Top Gun, definitely a true story.
don't put the Hurt Locker in the rest of that. Hurt Locker sucked.
This is all part
Shut
of
up,
the
that was a
same
good movie.
umbrella.
That was a suck ass movie and didn't
Shut
deserve
up,
the
that was a
Oscar
good
it
movie.
got.
That was a good
Thank
movie.
you.
It didn't deserve an
Wow.
Oscar, but it was a good movie.
That's some shit.
There was
Welcome
some
to Jamie's
better
take on it.
pictures, or
Every
best
good
pictures
movie.
that year.
That movie sucked. At least
Did not
American
It's not a
suck
good
as
movie.
That movie.
At least American Sniper is better at like conveying that. Yeah, being in the army can sucked.
this up. Keep talking.
Oh my God.
So-
Also, never mind.
No, go ahead.
No.
You're here for a reason, Grace. Tell us.
That movie was
An abomination against all mankind.
no, it wasn't. It
An
actually
abomination against
wasn't.
cinema?
You got a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, you
Wow.
ass.
Do you look everything up and mold your opinion to match it?
That's an aggregate of critics and viewers.
Oh, it's an aggregate.
Hold on, was
It's
that
an
the
aggregate.
was that the tomato score or the popcorn score? You have to go between the two.
Which one was it?
Give me the popcorn.
Look it up.
All right, fine. I'll give it the fucking popcorn. God damn it. Keep talking while I'm doing this. I don't know how to
No. I
Also,
wanna
that
know
was
what the
that was
popcorn
the
score
first
was.
best film to be won and directed by a woman.
96 on tomato meter, 84% on popcorn meter.
Oh.
84 on popcorn.
84.
So maybe watch it
Pretty
again.
good movie.
Watch it again.
It went from A plus to C plus. So
Yeah,
you
if
know,
I ever need to induce
84 is not
vomiting,
a
I'll watch
C
it again.
C
84,
plus
if
is
you
still
went
a
to
passing grade.
MNPS,
It's a B
was
minus.
84 was a C plus, 85 was a B, 93 and above is A.
What the fuck kind of?
Oh, dude, you know what it is now, by the way?
I've seen what it is now, and it's horseshit.
pathetic.
What?
We're talking about like public education in America.
The way they grade now.
Well, don't
is,
worry. We're going to abolish the Department of Education and we'll take care of it.
That's true.
They're
Go
gonna
ahead, what were you
they're gonna
talking
kick it down
Whose
to the
idea was
states,
that?
and then
That's,
everybody.
I know.
Either pass or fail.
Yeah.
Austin, if you are prophetic, please don't
Start
say
prophesying
things like
good
that anymore.
things.
Everything will be okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, we're not talking about education. We want to do my thing.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
No, please continue.
So let's go to the history of when the military and Hollywood got together. It's the worst kept secret that Hollywood and the military, and by extension, the rest of the government, are in bed together. The military has been working with Hollywood filmmakers since 1927, when it helped produce Wings, which was the winner of the very first Academy Award for Best Motion Picture.
Shocker.
I know.
Rigged from the start.
Rigged from the start. Thank you, Austin.
Was it funny?
No, this was not.
Then it definitely won.
Yeah.
It was a drama.
You can't win if you're funny.
No.
No, it's not allowed. You have to be a comedic actor who then breaks and does something brave by doing a serious role.
No.
Which is a lot easier to do, by the way.
Yeah.
It's harder to be funny on
Absolutely.
On screen. Yeah.
Because every small deal has to be a big deal.
While the Pentagon's involvement in Hollywood has waxed and waned throughout the years, it went full force during World War II. Previously to World War II, Hollywood had been busy making Hammer horror movies, classic Frankenstein, Wolfman, Mummy movies, in the chlorine and blood-soaked aftermath of World War I. It's really not an exaggeration to say that a lot of these, especially, the director of, it was James W. something. Hold on.
James W.P.
The guy who directed Bride of Frankenstein.
Oh.
What was that motherfucker's name? Hold on, I got it. Hold on. James Whale.
Yeah.
James Whale, a gay German man who fled World
Germany.
War I, destroyed Germany, and fled when the rise of fascism was coming on. A lot of the early horror movies are read as depictions of the environment of the scarred psyche of essentially the world that just literally went from not necessarily muskets, but like single shot revolvers and cavalry and horses to then fighting with mechanized warfare,
Right.
to early tanks that, 3 years previous.
Machine guns.
Right. Machine guns 3 years previous to World War I. You get like some of the first recorded flights. And then next thing you know, we're strapping guns to it and dropping bombs on each other. We're using mustard gas. We're using chlorine. We're literally have people charging over and just getting mowed down and just hoping that your friend gets shot enough times that you can run over his body on the wire to then kill someone else who's just as terrified as you are, right?
yeah.
So a lot of that influenced a lot of the Hammer horror movies. Now, in the early years of World War II, Hollywood pivoted to fanciful musicals and lighthearted romantic roms. Take the edge off. That was until the U.S. Office of War Information established a unit dedicated exclusively to Hollywood, the Bureau of Motion Pictures. Now, to give you an idea on the extent of the Bureau's involvement in Hollywood, between 1942 and 1945, the Bureau of Motion Pictures reviewed 1,652 scripts. revising or discarding anything that portrayed the U.S. unfavorably or anything that could be construed as making Americans seem, quote, oblivious to the war or anti-war. Elmer Davis, who was the head of the Office of War Information at the time, said, the easiest way to inject a propaganda idea into most people's minds is to let it go through the medium of an entertainment picture when they do not realize they're being propagandized.
And I mean, here's the obvious is that, like, American Hollywood is synonymous with the rest of the world, right? Like, everybody watches American movies.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We, as Americans, we very rarely watch movies that are, like,
From other parts of the world.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, they all get lumped together
They
into
are
foreign films.
Other industries have grown immensely in the last 25 years.
And that was
though.
my
Like
other point.
Bollywood and
Yeah.
K-pop, like Korean films and
basically, it wasn't until the 1990s that, like,
I mean,
we started
Western
to
Europe,
kind of
obviously,
branch
it's basically
away
the
from
same.
that.
It's like fucking
And
same branch. But
People were able to get funding for movies that spoke against America or against American military.
it's like
We'll
the,
get into that.
The material that was unjust to the South, like Daughters of the Revolution, like anything that was seen as anti-South was
Pushed away.
discarded.
Well, look at that movie, Gone with the Wind. People fucking blew that movie up and were like, oh, it's the best movie in the whole world. And it depicts a bastardized, idealized version of the antebellum South.
yeah.
So that same mentality has stretched throughout the years and infected everything from movies to video games, trading cards, music, sport events, any avenue of pop culture you dare to check. But let's stick with Hollywood for the moment. This was the beginning of their relationship to the military, which continues to this day. But World War II propaganda is pretty unique. If you ask anyone about World War II, specifically Americans, most of them will call it the last good war, as if any war could ever be described as good. There's a multitude of reasons for this. But the overall idea is that Americans are portrayed as coming in to stop Hitler and personally putting a stop to the concentration camps. All while whistling Yankee Doodle and teaching Europeans how to truly kick ass and take names. What you don't see is the treatment of Japanese Americans in their internment, or the American inspiration and support that Hitler and his fascists were given prior to his annexation of Poland when he actually started in full force killing white people. You don't see the segregated armed services, or the multitude of Germany's victims. Obviously, many Jews were killed. There were also Poles who were killed. LGBTQ people were some of the first people targeted, as well as the burnings of the one of the first, at the time they called it transsexual institutes of study.
Yep.
Many socialists and communists were murdered. Teachers, intellectuals, writers, and the original victims of the Holocaust, the mentally and physically disabled.
We were also one of the last people to
Hop in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
because we were isolationist up until that point, quote unquote, isolationist.
Very much so. From Saving Private Ryan to Fury, you see exactly what the government wants you to see, which is a clean narrative about the ultimate moral soldier. However, there came a war where, despite the best misinformation tactics the CIA could use, the American people's anti-war efforts, as well as a can-do attitude from the Viet Cong, brought this narrative to a grinding halt. It became so much more difficult to spread lies during one of America's darker wars, Vietnam. Now, Vietnam was awful for everyone. If you weren't an arms manufacturer or some kind of bloated demon that lives off of screams and tears, odds are you weren't having a good time. Now, while the Pentagon obscured everything from Agent Orange to the My Lai massacre, they were laughably incompetent at keeping people from learning the truth. In one hilariously bad example of propaganda, the state media would report the numbers of enemy combatants killed as a kind of goalkeeping, right? As a kind of like, look how great we're doing.
Yeah.
Well, some enterprising
Our
individuals...
team has a higher score.
Yeah, exactly. Literally like gamifying war.
Yeah.
Well, some enterprising individuals actually took that data and checked it. And they found that if the numbers reported by the state media were true, that would mean the population of Vietnam would have been murdered several times over. Gaffes like this, as well as the breaking news of American soldiers torching villages and families, torturing and sexually assaulting POWs and civilians, and the mass indiscriminate bombing of Vietnam, Laos, and Cambodia made Vietnam a hard sell for Hollywood. You can't exactly make a Hairspray-style musical about My Lai, right?
I mean,
We can try.
We could
harder.
try.
Yeah.
I do like
Try
a
harder.
challenge.
Yeah.
I mean, Austin on it.
We're gonna burn down your village.
Nah,
Scuba to do it up.
Oh my god.
you gotta make it like a guy comes in and he's not sure, like he doesn't like the place, and then like he tries the food and it's like they're not so bad.
Yeah.
Rice is pretty cool, especially when you put raw meat on it.
We need a patter song, but I'm trying to. What rhymes with napalm?
Ooh,
Lip balm.
Boys, we got it. So that's just too funny. So during Vietnam, Hollywood had to pivot and instead began telling stories of veterans broken by the horrors they experienced. People who struggle with post-traumatic stress and disabilities inflicted by conflict. A lot of movies like Coming Home, The Deer Hunter, even Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
There's an entire era of mostly 70s movies about troubled PTSD-riddled soldiers.
Right.
Unfortunately, even movies like Taxi Driver and Coming Home are still unwilling to give the whole truth. While it's admirable to tackle topics like soldiers' deteriorating mental health, they completely gloss over the larger geopolitical issues at hand and instead individualize and pathologize war. We have dozens of movies that show the individualized horrors of war, but nothing about the mechanized money-printing machine of war profiteering. Nor do we have a real overview of the generals ordering massacres or the soldiers themselves that followed those orders. Everything from the Deer Hunter to the Hurt Locker, we aren't shown a series of soldiers broken by what they've done and the overall emotional cost of warfare. We are instead shown tragic heroes who have been damaged by what they've been forced to do by evil enemy combatants. Quote.
Yeah, I mean, I'm struggling really hard to try and find an example
Well,
to defute like what you're saying, because you're right.
I have
I can't think of a movie that really does encompass the full story.
even in the Hurt Locker, which is like pretty well known for showing like PTSD, and that scene where Jeremy Renner's in it standing in the grocery store and he can't really come to grips with like where he's at versus where he's been. There's a very I'd say probably, I guess, what is depicted as the darkest moment in the movie where they find the kid that's been like in the background playing soccer with them and he's got a bomb wired into his chest.
Right.
They're not showing the actual geopolitical issues at hand. They're not showing the invasion of Iraq by the United States and the essentially police action that we are occupying their country. What they're showing is, look at what these evil insurgents did and look what they made our boys do.
Right.
What about Platoon?
I was gonna say also Apocalypse Now.
Platoon and Apocalypse Now are very
close.
They're close. They are very few and far in between.
But I would say No Banana, though, still in that regard.
The what?
You don't think so?
Not really.
What about Platoon, Apocalypse Now, Full Metal Jacket? I'd say
Full Metal Jacket, definitely. That's a breaking of someone prior to going to war.
I mean, that's more of a psychological pursuit to create good soldiers.
Yeah, but also in Apocalypse Now, like the level of PTSD that those soldiers under Brando's character, that is true psychological damage in the middle of warfare. Like it's probably the closest depiction that someone's been able to capture of what it might have been like over there at that time.
Right. And for every movie that does attempt to show the actual like horrors of war or anything that tries to depict the cost, the human cost of something like that, there are literally dozens and dozens of other movies that overshadow
Right.
that.
I mean,
yeah. Definitely.
Like, in that regard, I mean, that's Kubrick. He's fucking psychological. He's basically
cerebral.
He's cerebral. Thank you. Like that's an art film, so to say. You know what I mean? Like that's something that's played in festivals and stuff, not necessarily like the blockbuster
Apocalypse
kind of
Now.
thing, you know? Yeah, not
is
really.
that Kubrick?
Pretty sure.
I think so.
Yeah.
Full Metal Jacket definitely.
Full Metal
is.
Jacket definitely is.
Sorry,
I don't think.
yeah.
I don't
No,
think.
You're right. Yeah, not
Apocalypse Now is, but the director's cut of Apocalypse Now is like 4 hours long, and
who did do it?
I've sat through that before, and it is brutal.
Francis Coppola.
There
That's
you
it is.
go.
Coppola is another example. Of
Also cerebral.
someone that's like allowed to do kind of outside of what Joseph's talking about because
Yeah.
he's made a name for himself. in that
Sure.
regard, you know.
I just felt like in terms of a war film that has some of the most like broad spectrum experience of what I think a lot of people can't talk about that came back from the conflict, the Vietnam conflict. Like when you look at obviously Martin Sheen's main character is going over to kind of get answers, but you have the people that are the soldiers that are just following the orders, that are just doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing and feeding into the machine. And then you have Robert Duvall's character who's like, I love the smell of napalm in the morning. And he's obviously lost
such a good
it.
scene.
And then you have the one, Brando's character, who's truly thinks he's like this god now because of what he's done over there. It's a full spectrum of psychological damage and ego and just humanity in one movie. So I think it's one of the better options to say, like, that's probably the closest one that we've got.
Yeah.
But you're right, Joseph. It is few and far between that you actually get more of that realistic story.
Especially when, like you said, it's Francis Ford Coppola and Stanley Kubrick, who are people who are well established and have the power to sway movie studios to their own scripts, whereas many other screenwriters, an entire generation of them, are used to having their scripts picked apart by third-party liaisons between the military and Hollywood.
And also in those contexts, you may as well like apply subtitles to their movie. If you're talking about the lowest common denominator, American ticket buyer of the movie theater.
Well,
You
there
know
are
what I mean?
people who watch The Boys and think Homelander's a hero. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, you
Right.
can't really underestimate how dumb or susceptible to propaganda the average person could be.
Then I want to ask the question, Joseph. Of course, you're looking at this with a very, like, I would say, with an objective in mind. But is there a war movie that you actually enjoy, or does are you able to enjoy any war movie, or does the art process kind of get lost because of?
It kind of depends. There are moments where I can like just kind of shut it off for the most part and just be like, I'm just gonna watch this movie. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of related but sort of unrelated. So like me and Sarah are watching MasterChef, you know, like as like our kind of like dumb, like I just want something on while we're like eating and just like before we go to bed.
Yeah, Grace and I's Criminal Minds.
Yeah. And it's usually cooking shows or something like that. I love, you know, like obviously my wife's an incredible chef and everything. And so like, you know, and I like food and stuff too. I love eating it. But, you know, so we'll watch some dumb food thing. But we were watching MasterChef the other day and it was really funny because there was an episode where they do the whole mystery box thing. And they're like, hey, you know, here's your secret ingredient. And they were MREs, right? And they have this guy come on, this chef come on who's like, I used to be in the military and I've cooked for Obama and all this stuff. And they keep spending the whole time doing the rah kind of thing, which let me tell you, first of all, as much as I'm not a pro-America guy, hearing a British guy, Gordon Ramsay, I love you, but hearing a British dude talk about our country makes me want to punch him in the face a little bit, where I'm like, you don't get to say that, bruh.
Dude, the only Brit that's allowed to shit talk America, in my opinion, is John Oliver.
No,
Yeah.
not
Because
even
he
him.
does a really good job.
Not even him. We decided
He's an
who gets to
American
talk
citizen
shit
now.
about America in 1775, baby.
But like while they're doing
America can talk shit about America.
Well, John Oliver is an American citizen now,
That's true,
so
he
he
was.
can
Now-
talk shit about
Granted his
America.
citizenship, that's true.
technicality,
Now, you know why? Because Britain sucks.
but like even watching that dumb show, it's like there's stuff where it's like I'm mostly just turned my brain off. There's still moments where I'm like, look at this, like they're like spending all this money doing all these light displays, doing all this stuff because it's like really at the end of the day, they know where they know where their bread's buttered. You know what I mean? They know where they're getting money and subsidies from.
Yeah.
But a good
Buttered
war,
toast, not cheese on toast, you Brits.
a good war movie that I did watch recently that I
Yeah, fuck
enjoyed
mushy peas.
was
Oh, they're disgusting.
Because I'll tell you what the best war movie is. I'll let you like trying.
It's The Patriot.
Is
with
it
Mel
Terminator
Gibson.
2?
No.
Dude, I fucking love the Patriot.
I love The Patriot.
Mel Gibson is a crazy son of a bitch. I do not like him as a person, but man, can that guy fucking direct a film?
My sons were better men.
Christ, that movie is good. It's such a
Just
good movie.
fucking.
What you got, Joseph?
The one that I watched recently was, I think it was All Quiet on the Western Front. It's
Oh,
there's
That's
so
the
good.
German film, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that I thought was really
good.
good.
It is good.
The Netflix World War I movie. And then there's another one where it's like two guys crossing no man's land to deliver a message.
1917.
Thank you. I thought
It's a one-shot film,
Yeah.
which is honestly an incredible feat in terms of filmmaking. Okay, technically it's a two-shot.
three-shot.
It's a two-shot film.
Thank you.
Oh my God.
I thought All Quiet on the Western Front and 1917 were really good.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed both of
really
those.
What'd you think of Dunkirk?
I haven't watched it.
Dunkirk was good.
It was good.
Yeah.
You don't know what the best one is though?
What's that?
Mulan, best war movie.
Oh
That's
my God.
hard to beat. That's a good
Damn it,
one.
you're right.
Damn, Jamie.
I was so ready to be like, Jamie, you're an idiot. But God, yeah,
Gotta
you know
go
what?
back home. Sons like any other.
I was gonna say definitely the soundtrack slaps.
His mother.
But I'd say, hang on, let's if we can.
Oh my God, you almost kept in time with how you started saying that.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna keep singing.
Mulan does kind of cover all the aspects of war.
Mulan does a pretty good job.
Yeah. I mean, they talk about a lot
Well,
of
that's
the
back
issues
when
with
Disney
it
was really
socially.
good at making hard themes enjoyable. You know?
It does celebrate imperialism, which is difficult.
Does it celebrate or does it just?
have
They're
an
definitely
emperor.
having a celebration at the end of that movie,
Well, I mean,
and they're celebrating the emperor in
But
that.
a lady won, you know?
But a lady did win.
Yep, that is true.
And Mulan's a great movie. I'm gonna have to listen to the Mulan soundtrack on the way home.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes I'll play, sometimes I'll
gonna
listen
say,
to I'll
wait.
Make a Man Out of You.
I was gonna say,
back at me. When my reflection show who I am inside.
All right, we're gonna get sued.
That was really good.
that was good.
nah, that was just
One of my
a-
favorite lines though is still like, "What are they? Concubines, ugly."
They really played with trans themes on that. movie,
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
they,
Awesome.
they
Yeah.
played a lot with bisexual themes, trans themes,
Yeah.
war themes,
Can't believe
honor
I
themes.
fell in love with a
Dishonor
chick.
on you. Dishonor on your cow.
I know.
Dishonor on your whole family.
Honestly, Eddie Murphy's a treasure in that
Oh,
movie.
absolutely.
I always think of the part where like they're sliding down the snow and he like reaches in. He's like, Mulan, Mulan. He pulls out a hun. He's like, shoves him back. And he's like, nope.
And then he pulls out the cricket and he's like, "You are one lucky bug."
By the way, that whole scene took like 2 years to animate. 'cause it was
Oh, wow.
all
Really?
hand
It's
drawn.
all hand drawn.
All hand drawn.
Hell yeah. They don't make them like they used to.
So I
They don't
proved Joseph
hand-draw
wrong.
anything.
Boom, baby. Let's keep going.
Just burn the script.
I let them slip right through my fingers.
So, the 1970s saw far fewer Pentagon-backed war films for a public that was fatigued from Vietnam and its aftermath on the evening news. But according to the Hollywood Reporter, as Reaganite militarism began ascending, the 1980s saw a steady growth in the demand for access to military facilities and in the number of films, TV shows, and videos made about the military. For that access, the military began exacting a price. Increasingly, for filmmakers to gain access to even the most basic military scenery, Pentagon gatekeepers were requiring major plot and dialogue changes so as to guarantee that the military was favorably portrayed, even if those unedited plots and dialogues represented just absolute falsehoods. This was no real secret inside the film industry. In a 1986 Maclean's report, military officials acknowledged that when directors came to them asking for permissions, the requests were being denied if those officials felt the armed forces weren't being depicted, quote, heroic enough in their own terms. In a 1994 Variety story, the Pentagon's official Hollywood liaison, Phil Strubb, put it even more bluntly. The main criteria we use for approval is how could the proposed production benefit the military? Could it help in recruiting? And is it in sync with present policy? And as if that carrot-stick dynamic wasn't coercive enough to aspiring filmmakers, the Pentagon in the 1980s expanded the definition of cooperation to include collaboration on screenplays as scripts were being initially drafted. Quote, it saves writers time from writing stupid stuff, said one official. Stupid stuff being a euphemism for stuff the military doesn't like. And soon Pentagon leaders were making explicit threats, such as the one that the Navy's Robert Anderson issued on PBS, of all places. If you want full cooperation from the Navy, we have a considerable amount of power because it's our ships, it's our cooperation. And until the script is in a form that we can approve, then the production does not go forward.
So they're going after Ken Burns now. Damn.
That's right. Now, that was all throughout the 80s and the 90s. Well, after America's various incursions and invasions into the Middle East, Hollywood took their manufactured consent and dialed it up to 11. And once that dial hit 9/11, shit got crazy.
Nice. That's good.
Yes, nice.
You know, Joseph was typing and he's just like, I am cooking.
I literally wrote in here, pause for laughter. Because sometimes you know
Hey,
when you
Sarah,
get...
come over here. Read this real quick.
God, I bet if you asked her, she'd be
kudos.
exhausted by how many times
Hey,
I've said
everybody,
that.
come see how good I look.
Kudos to that.
Chuckling to myself.
Smoking a
To
cigarette.
be fair, I do that a lot. Grace can confirm.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, I can.
There should be a support group for just you and Sarah.
There really should.
They just keep saying how funny they are.
Sarah,
won't stop with
if
the
you're
bits.
listening, I've got you. You can call me anytime if you just need to fucking scream.
Spent more time listening to bits than I have my husband just talking to me.
That is very true.
Hey, too close to home.
Yeah, me too. Moving on. Well, as the Twin Towers laid in rubble and embers smoked for over 100 days, a meeting was taking place.
Hang on. Sorry. Grace, how many times do you have to stop Grant and just be like,
Oh, we're
is
on
this a
this.
bit?
Oh, I don't have to stop to ask if it's a bit.
You know
I just
by now.
know it's a bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he gets mad because I'm like, uh-huh. He's like, yeah, you know? And I'm like, uh-huh. And he's like, but you get it? And I'm like, yeah, I fucking know. He's
it's
like,
good,
but
right?
it's a bit. And I'm like, I am
Nudge,
going
nudge,
to
nudge,
murder
jab,
you
jab, jab.
in your
It's
sleep.
7 o'clock in the morning. Damn it, Grant, shut up.
Yeah. Eventually, I just stopped talking. And I let him just speak into the ether.
It's true.
So always. The answer is
And I
always.
do.
He'll tucker himself out of it.
He will. He does tucker himself out pretty quick.
You know, the fun thing is I wake up doing bits.
It's exhausting because I am not awake yet.
At least I need like an hour in the morning to like come back online.
My dreams are funny, and everybody needs to learn about them.
You still dream?
Yeah, sometimes.
Nice.
I had a dream that we all got whacked recently.
Off?
Did I tell you? No, like mob style.
Damn.
The mob jacked us off?
We did something to piss somebody off because they fucking rounded us
What?
up.
Us?
Yeah.
Oh, fun.
Yeah. It was wild.
Anyway, back to the military.
Back to the military.
Back to the Twin Towers laying in rubble. So as that was happening, Pentagon officials and a veritable who's who of Hollywood producers, directors, and screenwriters had met in the wake of the attacks, brought together to brainstorm about future threats and track scenarios at a U.S. Army-funded Institute for Creative Technologies. Attending this meeting, there was Steven DeSouza of the Die Hard franchise, Joseph Zito, director of Delta Force 1 and Missing in Action, and David Fincher.
No shit.
Yeah.
Really? Oh.
Directed Fight Club, Alien 3, and plenty of other stuff.
Yeah.
Meetings like this were increasingly common in the post 9/11 years. Former President George W. Bush's administration had been known to leverage the influence of Hollywood celebrities to
Dick
sway
Cheney.
the public. Don't step on my jokes, Grant. I got one coming down the pipe. God damn it, man. I'm doing something.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
In fact, a few years before 9/11, U.S. Secretary of Defense William Cohen approached stars like Julia Roberts, Tom Cruise, Robert De Niro, Harrison Ford, and Will Smith to go on national TV and radio, as well as online, to encourage Americans to join the armed forces. Now, in November 2001, there was a subsequent meeting between White House and Hollywood officials. Senior advisor, Republican strategist, and all-time sweetheart Karl Rove
Boo.
led a high-powered discussion on how Hollywood could help sell the global war on terror. Let's see. I think I lost my place.
Quick aside, do y'all remember that TV show? It was like baby politicians from Comedy Central. It was like Baby Bush and Baby Dick Cheney and Baby Karl Rove.
I forgot about that. Wow.
Wow, yeah.
Sorry, you said Karl Rove, and I immediately shot back there because that whole era was so fucking bizarre.
That was weird.
Should I rewatch it? Or should I watch it? I've never heard of it.
You should, just for the context
It's
of
interesting.
where culture went post 9/11 by 3 or 4 years. Because what was it called? Was it called Baby Bush?
I think so.
Or
Baby politician? I can't
it was
remember.
something, I can't remember the full title, but it was literally all of those politicians from
And then-
2000 to 2008.
And then not that long after that, the
Basically
Colbert
as-
Report
Yeah.
started.
Colbert Report.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he was an offshoot from The Daily Show.
Right.
That's right.
But
And he
Comedy
was
Central at
the
that
quote
point
unquote
was on
antithesis
fire.
of The Daily Show because he always played the,
The far right guy.
far right
which
Republican.
now is just laughably
It's
in
great.
the middle.
Yeah, now it's almost like center right.
Yeah, it really
Also,
Just like
everyone,
the Democrats.
everyone go back and watch, damn it, what was it? Celebrity Deathmatch. Just for good times.
Yeah, come on.
That was great. I
You want
missed
to disassociate a little bit?
times
Celebrity
were
Deathmatch.
Classic.
times were more simple back then.
It was called Lil Bush.
Lil Bush.
Lil
there
Bush.
it is.
Little Bush, that's right.
Careful with your Googling Little Bush.
True.
Type in TV show after it.
Safe search.
Or before.
Little Bush, yeah.
Or yeah.
TV show, Little Bush TV show.
Or, you know,
Comedy
don't.
Central TV show.
Yeah, there you go.
Some people like a Lil Bush.
Who don't?
People that like Big Bush.
Jamie,
There you go.
I mean,
There's really
if we're-
just two kinds of
there's
people,
just two
Little
kinds-
Bush and Big
or
Bush.
there's three. There's no Bush.
Oh, those people don't need to be talked to. Be an adult, grow some hair.
That's what I'm saying.
I want to fuck a Barbie doll.
If you can't fight through a jungle, then you're not really.
Yeah,
You're not really
seriously.
trying.
No, dude.
You're
Fucking
not
mow
for the
through.
front lines.
you're not
You're
fighting.
not for the
You're
front
not for the
lines.
infantry. You're
You're
not
not
for the
fighting.
front lines.
If you ain't picking hairs out of your teeth, you ain't doing it right.
That's right. You're not
Oh
fighting.
my God.
I use it as floss sometimes.
That is.
That's,
Bar lowered.
that's gross.
How do you think I got such a great smile?
Clean teeth, baby.
That ain't a beard on his face, ladies and
That's
gentlemen.
right. That's right.
That's a mop.
All right, I'm
Anyway.
going to ask that we continue.
Okay. So initiatives like this. Initiatives like this culminated in a short film called Operation Enduring Freedom. It was released in 2002, which tried to answer questions like what the war on terror was and what its goals were. It was shown before feature films in around 4,000 cinemas owned by the Real Entertainment Group. Many of the Real, quote unquote, many of those encouraged to join
R-E-A-L?
REEL,
The real.
like a film reel.
Okay.
Didn't need that noise.
I was gonna
that
say,
was
God.
an interesting noise.
He
Hate
crushed that. No, he did a good job.
Is your reel
Yeah,
made
that's-
of tongues?
That's how
Yeah, that's how it sounds.
mine is.
Is that like Pinhead Cinema?
Oh,
We have such features to show you.
oh, stop it.
It's a real good noise. I like it, but it
I hope
bothers me.
I hope
makes
some
my
of our
skin
listeners
crawl,
have their
honestly.
headphones in.
For all you misophonia people, if you enjoyed that. Many of those encouraged to join the military by this media campaign were from poorer and minority communities across the United States, because as we know, it's okay for the rich to profit from wars, but they cannot send their own children to fight them. Interestingly enough, Dan O'Meara, co-author of Movies, Myth, and the National Security State, says that despite 9/11 apparently coming like a bolt from the blue, like out of nowhere, Hollywood movies had been anticipating an attack like it for at least a decade. To quote him, the whole exercise of national security, the people who are charged with running the national security apparatus, be they intelligence services or various military services, are essentially engaged in speculation, which is reflected in our movies. And that if you prepare for a kind of war and you keep on telling people that this is going to happen and we need to spend $100 billion on weapon systems just in case, well, you are orienting the public to believe that this will happen, because if they don't believe it, you're not going to get the money.
Yeah, they're going to vote for the military budget. That makes sense. On that timeline, I mean, like what's that, 90s? Pearl Harbor?
Mm-hmm.
You know? That
Yeah.
was around that time. That was
Yeah.
like a little bit before.
Pearl Harbor was huge.
Yeah,
But, I
it was
mean,
massive. But
It was a love story with war happening around it.
right.
But it was a
But
huge
it
movie.
reminded Americans like why we got into a world war. Right?
And that answer is Kate Beckinsale. That's why we went to war. I love 1920s Kate Beckinsale.
1940s.
40s.
Hey there, I'm Kate Beckinsale.
They still talk like that in the 40s.
Let's do the
kinda.
Charleston.
Also, Jennifer Garner was in that movie as one of the nurses as well.
Oh, that's right.
I just remember that one line that so Pearl Harbor, I want to say, came out when I was in middle school, and I just remember all the kids were quoting what was it when that cuts to the Japanese
9/11 though.
Uh-huh.
Remember when the Japanese guys are talking and they're like, we have defeated them in Pearl Harbor, and they're like, we have awoken the sleeping giant.
Yeah. Wasn't that later? That's
That's
quote,
at the very end.
But that quote never happened. Was that or something like that?
I mean, of course, it never happened.
There
That
was-
was just
It was either that one or it was the one that was behind every blade of grass, the Americans have a gun, something like that.
I don't know. That
Like
I think that one is a real quote.
No.
I think the sleeping
it's
giant
that's why
is-
they never invaded the mainland. It's because they knew that every American had a gun.
dude.
Right. But either way, that's propaganda.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's also true.
China,
Well,
if you're
that's
ever if anyone's gonna attack the United States mainland, go to Florida first.
That's the worst place to go.
Exactly.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, no.
Right.
They'll welcome you with open arms. But let's be real, no one's ever going to
We'll
do a
welcome
mainland
you.
invasion of the United States.
We'll welcome you with the open right to bear arms, baby. Woo!
Man, what if they went straight to
The Everglades.
inland
Florida?
Just
Oh
hit
my
up
God.
Tallahassee.
Right.
No, Daytona.
Oh my
fucking
God.
stupid
Tampa
would that
and
be?
Daytona, hit them from both sides. Let's go.
They would lose immediately.
Honestly, if any foreign
Also,
country,
just leave Orlando off the map, though.
if you
because-
want to annex any part of the United States, just take Florida.
yeah, cut it off.
It's already,
Watch
yeah,
it
seriously,
float out
break
into
it
the
off.
ocean.
That's what I was going to say. Break it off and just tow it away
Yeah.
with 100 tugboats.
That's where my parents live. Fuck off.
Sorry.
Tell them to move.
But for real,
But what
though,
about the Miami Dolphins?
could
Fuck
you-
off.
What about two tongues aioli?
You said that we were done talking about the damn Dolphins. If I can't watch the Dolphins every Sunday, you will never see me again.
No, you'll
because
just have-
I'll be hanging from the Cumberland Bridge.
But
Oh
for
my
real,
God.
how fucking stupid would it be for a country to try and invade us
Through
starting
Florida?
with Florida?
Our craziest people live down there.
Not to
All
mention
of the best, most fun guns are coming out of the woodwork immediately.
Plus, there's sharks and alligators
are getting
and-
thrown at them.
Not to mention,
There's gonna be
all of
four-
A lot of
the
the meth.
world's best naval bases.
All of the meth.
That's so true.
Yeah.
But no, there's gonna be like 6 meth head Florida's
Bath salts.
Floridians just throwing a crocodile at a guy. Like,
Yeah.
right.
Honestly, I say go for it.
I feel like it would be.
If you could make it through Florida, then
It
come
would-
on.
You know how
Yeah.
the Vikings had the
I mean, you still have to
berserkers?
deal with
Yeah.
Mississippi,
When they would just
Alabama.
show in
That's
with no
what Florida is for us.
Floridians, yeah, Florida man.
Those are our berserkers on bath salts, just ready
You,
for
I don't
it.
know, you try to go through Central Florida, I swear it would be just like going through Vietnam. Like there'd be like alligator like
It's hot as
pits.
shit.
Yeah.
There's like too many plants.
Right.
People hide in the jungle, basically,
Yeah.
just like popping out like, yeah.
Mosquitoes just everywhere.
Yeah.
Just
Snakes.
mean crackers.
Yeah.
Snakes. Fucking all of it.
This is
Snapping
this is the movie
turtles.
that we
Yeah.
need to make, Joseph.
Yeah, honestly, this is what we should be doing. This
is
is what's going to
military.
sell.
That's the
Yeah.
pro-America movie that we need.
Right.
Yeah.
The military.
The fucking modern day Red Dawn.
yeah.
Yeah. As soon as we
Red
get
Dawn was
signed
great.
on by the Joe Rogan Network,
Oh,
and then we
Jesus
like
Christ.
make our hard pivot, let's make this movie.
The Swayze Red Dawn, not that fucking Josh Peck bullshit, whatever the fuck that
yeah,
was.
right. What was that?
Yeah. They tried.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
you, Josh
I was
Peck,
gonna
but that was
say
his
I
lad.
don't. No, I don't.
Yeah.
I only know the Swayze.
Yeah, I only
Red
know
Dawn.
the OG.
Oh my god. Then you're fine.
Okay.
Good, but they did make
You've
a
been
remake.
untainted.
I think Chris Hemsworth and Josh Peck were in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
like
one's
them
Josh
both.
Peck?
He's Drake and Josh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Dude, that kid's
Yeah.
awesome, actually.
He's overcome a lot of battles.
I was gonna say,
a
th-
lot
his-
of battles.
his story is fucking nuts.
Right.
He came from Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he survived.
Well,
he
that's
should
a
say
battle
he
well won.
survived
Nickelodeon, like there's a whole story about how his dad left when he was young.
Yeah.
He struggled through a lot
I
of
know.
abuse
He was like a
and,
kid
and
stand-up,
drugs.
But
and-
also, can we talk? Sorry, this different podcast, different day. But can we talk about how all of the like Disney and Nickelodeon and like youth are all from power hungry / broken families? in the future.
Maybe not all of them.
A lot of them.
Well, for sure. For sure. I'm saying like 99%.
Right. Again, not today. Different day, different podcast. But
We don't have time for such things. Joseph, keep going.
Well, we know for a fact that 9/11 was not an out-of-the-blue attack. Warnings from government agents and reconnaissance had been warning of an attack like it for years.
They've been training for it.
They had been training for it, and that's not even to get into the idea that W. Bush, and by Bush I really mean Dick Cheney,
Yes, you do.
let 9/11 happen in order to get the green light for their forever wars and resource annexation,
1,000%.
which is 1,000% what happened. But while people can act as if it did come out of the blue, you don't even have to look at the military's swift mobilization into the region or the stripping of civil liberties that took hold in the post-9/11 nationalist fervor and continues to this day. You only have to look at the movies that told us it would happen and that we would be safe so long as the people with the guns showed up. Now, the reason I thought this was important to bring up was that in light of where our government has gone, is going, and will go, we need to be aware, those are two of the same things, whatever. We need to be aware of not only each other's safety, but I think we should also try to be aware of the media we're consuming. The algorithm follows us wherever we go, and it pays attention to us. What we watch, what we search, and most importantly, what we buy. And it goes back a long fucking way. Way back in 2012, when a lot of people had just assumed things were all hunky-dory, a new amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act was signed into law by former President Obama. Besides codifying indefinite military detention without charge or trial into law for the first time in American history, it also contained an amendment that legalized the use of propaganda on the American people. Now, obviously, the country has not been waiting since it was legal to do it, but now they are, as this is sort of separate. My private theory is that the whole hypothesis is that the whole dog and pony show of having a two-party system and a actual voice in democracy, to me it feels as if the last few years has been the mask sliding off and has been essentially the oligarchs of America showing us that, yeah, I mean, you can riot and you can complain and you can protest and you can do what you want, but really, what are you going to do? Unless you're going to all organize and kill all of us, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that's why things like this, I think, are important. While it's not the most important thing in the world, especially for the fights that are going to be coming, this is just something that I think people should be aware of and try to be more cognizant of what you are being shown and why you're being shown it.
It's kind of a same sort of a hat on hat kind of a deal that we're dealing with. And you're right.
Yeah. The NDAA, the National Defense Authorization Act's dangerous detention provisions would authorize the president and all future presidents to order the military to pick up and indefinitely imprison people captured anywhere in the world far from any battlefield. So, all that being said, the next time you cozy up to watch a movie, you're in your favorite chair, you got your favorite candy, your favorite snack, and your favorite popcorn bucket with the pre-cut hole in the bottom. Take a moment to consider what they're showing you and why they're showing it to you. Because while we all love to lose ourselves in a comforting or exciting fiction, you don't want to lose yourself so much that you start rooting for the people with their boots on your neck.
Cheers.
That felt like a synopsis final paragraph right there.
That's what it was.
That's what it was.
You were paying attention.
Very good, Joseph. And you're absolutely right. It sucks.
Yeah, it sucks.
It sucks. And see.
So much of this just boils down to it sucks.
Good night, everybody.
Got nothing else.
Right.
No, but
it sucks.
I do have the fact that, like, unfortunately, a lot of these movies are fucking good.
Yeah.
Some of them are really good.
If you look at it from like a writing, editing, directing, budget standpoint, you know, like there's been times where I have legitimately enjoyed like a Michael Bay film, for example. You know what I mean?
It's entertaining.
Massively entertaining. But
The plot is shit, but it's entertaining.
Sometimes.
But sometimes you don't need a plot to just sit down and watch a dumb movie, you know?
Yeah.
But you do if you like completely suspend disbelief, right? Like you really just decide you want to dive into it, right? Like Grace, for example, you hate horror movies because you
I
actually
don't hate
get
horror
scared.
movies, but I do get spooked very
and
easily.
And you have nightmares and stuff.
Like-
I watch a horror movie and I'm like, oh, this is fun. Like how they decided to shoot
I like
this, how they
psychological
edited
thrillers.
it,
Make me think about it.
whatever.
Do you like Terrifier?
I don't like jump scares either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also,
I don't like
the
Terrifier.
demonic stuff and like possession shit. That I'm not a believer, but that shit fucks with me.
No, so
That shit fucks with me
That
hard.
stuff gets Sarah.
yeah, no. So that's the thing.
See, I
like,
think that's silly and fun,
because I think
you know?
Sarah and I had this conversation. We grew up Catholic.
Oh yeah.
And like that's
They
like
drill that in deep.
Yeah.
I
Like,
mean,
you stay
and I
away
get
from
it,
that.
dude. Like, I mean, I'm Southern Baptist. You know what I mean?
Like when people
Yeah.
when
I've got
people
some
bring up
weirdness
Ouija boards
deep down
and demons and stuff like fuck all that.
Well,
Yeah.
and it comes down to the fact, like, even though I'm not a believer, like, I still hold space for the fact that I think we're all made of the same materials, atoms, and energy, and
we scientifically proven are.
yeah. So, like, if energy can't be just created or destroyed, it's just transferred.
transferred,
like,
yeah.
if that is a possibility, I don't want to fucking be the one that ushers it into
Yeah.
my space.
Yeah.
So
Right.
you can have that.
Exactly.
Well,
Y'all can have it.
Two
I'll
things.
watch something
Exactly
else.
that.
Mm-hmm.
two things real quick. One, with the untold quintillions of people that have lived and died on this planet, the fact that if there are ghosts, they're swarming this bitch, right? Which means that there's either ghosts and they're all over the place and they're so oversaturated that they either
Correct.
can't interact with our realm or are pierce the veil to get through to us. That was a one for Jamie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
One of my favorite bands of all time.
That's right. If they can't pierce the veil to get through to us, then we're okay, right? Or it takes so much of them and so much energy to get to us that it's kind of negligible.
You can
right?
speak logically
so much
as-
energy. Like maybe
as often as you want.
Maybe like a group of people surrounding a little board, creating essentially an energy portal for these dark people
Listen.
to come
Listen.
back into our realm.
Don't mansplain ghosts to me. First of all, okay? I've seen a ghost and I don't
Energy.
even really believe in them that much, and I've
Transferable.
seen one, okay?
Transferable to maybe a singular place. Almost
object.
Or object.
Which brings me to part 2. In case there is that shit going on, and I like to consider myself, I don't believe in the Christian God or any organized religion.
Well,
I think
maybe
that's
you should.
bullshit. But I also am agnostic about weird, spooky things, and some things I believe in
Yeah,
a lot more
same.
than others.
Yeah.
But if you do want to, this makes me feel better whenever I feel like I've got ghosts on the brain, is that I'll go around my house and I'll just say, no one's invited in here. This is a closed space. I am closing myself off. No one's invited. If you are here, you have to leave.
Because
I
the
do the
devil's
same
like,
thing.
oh man.
Well,
But I
There are
do.
rules. Vampires can't come in if you don't invite them. So there must be some overlap.
I play
don't
trap
know.
music
There has to
because
be.
I'm thinking ghosts don't like it.
You know,
It
some
works.
racist ass old ghost is like, I can't listen to this music.
Yeah, that's what I think in my head.
That's a fantastic point because that's just noise to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
But
just start
also,
jacking
it's
it.
hard to be
I'm like,
scared
you like that
if
ghost?
you're blasting trap music.
see, I don't know.
Yeah.
I still.
I don't know. There's still
I'm with you on like not being open to.
there's still
Close
active,
yourself off a
Yeah,
little bit.
you're just like no.
still active exorcists in the Catholic Church.
That's true. There still are exorcisms
Yeah.
that are
Have
occurring.
you seen the Catholic Church's new anime mascot?
Oh no!
You
What?
haven't? Oh my God, have you
What?
really not? It's
Pull
awesome.
this up right now.
It's called Luce.
Pope-
Show
Son?
everybody.
Bro,
Jesus Christ.
Luce.
Luce. Hold on.
Oh.
Hold on.
The luchador.
Mine was better. Popasan.
Popus.
Also,
Yeah, that's
speaking
better.
of the Catholic Church, have y'all heard or watched the movie Conclave yet?
Conclave?
Conclave.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
Concave?
Get your
Sorry.
head
Come
out.
play.
We're talking
of
about
there.
Catholics. I thought we were going to talk about cum. I don't
Wait,
know.
what?
That's it. Luce. That's
what
their.
the
That's
fuck is
That's their
this?
new.
That's their mascot.
That's their mascot.
Wait, this is the
That's real.
The Vatican's mascot
It's
is
real.
a child in a fucking.
Rain slicker.
It's a yellow rain slicker. It's basically out of
So
it
it.
with
I
with
was
dirty
just
boots.
Oh my
Dirty
God.
fucking boots.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
just. Guys,
Georgie.
get a different marketing
Look at
team.
that.
They have so much money.
Isn't that
Get
crazy?
a better marketing team. What the
They're trying to
fuck?
appeal
All
to the
it's
Gen Z,
missing is
dude.
all it's missing is a fucking red balloon.
Yeah.
It is very it coded.
It is very it's very it.
I mean,
I don't
everything
wanna see it.
floats.
I'm already seeing it. I don't
Everything
like it.
floats in the Vatican, I guess.
Well.
Jesus Christ.
We all float
We
down
all
here.
float down
Oh my
here.
God.
Bring me
That
some
is
kids.
just insane. What is he holding? Or they?
They.
They is holding what appears to be a broken fork.
I don't know.
And there's
Excuse me. Do you have Prince Albert in a can? You do? Well, you better let him out.
There's an archbishop with it.
Oh my God.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's
my
wild.
God.
Isn't that awesome?
I
Oh,
got very
shit.
tired.
Look at that old ass man not even understanding what he's looking at.
I was asking about
I've
Conclave.
been working hard since 7 a.m. and I just got very tired.
Yeah, I know. I was asking about Conclave because you brought up the church and the Vatican and everything, but apparently this movie blows the roof off of the papacy in a way because it's
Isn't that the movie that just came out?
yeah, it's all
Is it a
about
documentary?
no.
Oh, okay.
No, it's a drama. It's got Ray Fiennes as the lead and a few other famous folks, but apparently what I've been told, don't know if this is for real or not, but I grew up with neighbors who were very Catholic. Like went to church three times a week, Catholic.
And
like
alcoholics.
So that's too much.
and they're
that's a
well,
lot.
they're hardcore. They're just about it.
Yeah,
But
alcoholics
apparently
do it,
this
yeah.
particular movie highlights a trans individual who infiltrates the papacy in some way.
Okay.
And so I don't know if
They become
and
Pope.
Mercs.
no, I don't know if no. It is not this weird, offshoot like militarized movie by any means. It is very much a drama of like this individual has now come up into the level of power as a trans individual, or maybe maybe it's like I've hidden myself truly this entire time and now people are starting. I don't know. It's fucking wild. This is a total non sequitur to our main conversation.
That's okay.
That's our podcast.
Well, Joseph, I gotta ask, what's your take on Tropic Thunder then?
Oh, it's really funny. Okay,
That's
good
it?
night. No, I think Tropic Thunder's very funny.
It definitely had to use some, I guess, collaboration on some level.
Oh, I'm sure
with
they got
the,
some.
military. Do you think it's pro-military?
I mean, I think
It's
ultimately
a satire.
It's a satire that doesn't really make fun of the military. It's more like it's aimed at it's more like aimed at Hollywood itself.
It is aimed at Hollywood because they're making a movie
Yeah, you're right.
about
actually.
Vietnam.
Jamie, you are right. They don't actually make fun of the American military.
Mm-hmm.
at
Yeah.
any
But that's what I
point.
was gonna like,
Yeah.
kind of leading
They're
into
just
like
making fun of
Joseph. Like,
Hollywood.
what's your take on that? Because in the end, it does have a relatively good message, but it does come at the cost of cooperation with the military.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's also some very inappropriate things that would not fly today.
Without that movie, you would have never
Like
seen Tom
what?
Cruise in a fat suit, and it's just
Tom Cruise in that movie.
Tom
is
Cruise in a
so
fat suit
good.
is hilarious.
No, but they actually embed all of those like subversive, quote unquote, subversive jokes
Right.
within a joke, and so it's allowed.
Yeah.
right?
It was
So Robert
I'm saying
Downey
it was
Jr.
allowed in
is allowed to
2012
be
when
the
it was
person-
made or whatever.
Robert Downey Jr. is allowed to be the actor that he was in that film.
I get it.
because they're making fun of the idea.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that I don't
So-
think that movie would fly if someone proposed it currently.
No, it would not get past
A decade
scripts.
earlier, yes, because we were in a slightly
don't know.
more understanding
I wanna-
moment of time.
I take it.
I want to believe that we can get back to a point where comedy movies can make those kinds of leaps again.
You know what?
I hope so.
Here's my take of what's gonna happen. They're gonna do a remake of Tropic Thunder,
Oh, it's gonna
but it's
suck.
gonna be all women. But it's gonna include blackface.
It's still gonna have blackface in it.
Blackface is still in, but it's all women.
Who's
And it's not-
Ocean's 8 meets Tropic Thunder.
who is
Yeah.
who is
Got
that big the big black chick from SNL? What's her name with the spiky
Oh.
hairdo?
No, she passed away.
No, she didn't.
Oh,
What?
wait.
She did?
Who are we talking about?
Who was in Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Never mind.
Hey, what are
Who
you
you
talking
who are you
about?
Sorry,
talking
so sorry.
about?
I would love to see her do.
Yeah, who are you?
If we're doing
talking
if we're doing a
There
Tropic
is-
Thunder remake, I would love to see her do whiteface. I think that would be fantastic.
Flip it on its head.
I think it'd be
Okay,
fantastic.
All right.
about?
Okay.
Yeah, her name
You're,
is
you're reeling
escaping
me in.
right
I was
now.
trying to think of like what's the
that's
least
good.
funny
That's good.
way
That's
that
good.
they would redo it.
Right. Well, I mean, that's the most funny way.
Depending on
You're thinking
who,
of how to actually make it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like,
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's what I do. I try to make things better.
He lowers the bar and he also makes things
Right.
funnier.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I'm polite, but I'm firm, you know? In my pants.
Don't mistake his funniness with weak dick. Okay.
Yeah.
No. Gentle, but insistent.
It's
Nope.
gonna keep poking until you say yes. Or no, but
Nope.
mostly yes.
No.
No is okay, but you could say yes.
No.
I'm politely knocking.
I have a
Tap,
question.
tap. Poke, poke.
Yeah, it's always shaving a haircut 2 bits. You know?
Well, no matter what, thank you for joining in. If you
No matter what.
if you want to tell us your favorite war movie or how you would make a Tropic Thunder remake, email us at don'temailtrashville@gmail.com.
And while you're at it, how about you go over to Instagram and follow us at Trashville_USA.
You can also follow us on TikTok, where we post live, or what's it called, where we will be posting parts of our live show coming up this December 7th, Saturday at 7:30.
Which you can also come see.
Holy shit, they can.
Yeah.
There's links to our tickets in our bio, which you can also buy some of our merch. We've got crazy merch now.
You can't make it to Nashville, maybe buy us some merch. Get a shirt. And if you don't want to buy a shirt, you just want to support us in another way, join the Patreon.
Join that Patreon.
You can even send us gifts on our Spotify, where we can get $10,000. Well, now we only need $9,990 to get our Murder Schmurder limousine.
That's right.
true.
You're welcome.
It's so hard getting us all together with 4 separate vehicles. All right. We
This
just
is really
need one.
economics.
We need one
This is really just makes sense.
Very fancy vehicle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Look, we're getting rid of our carbon footprint for the sake of just one giant
That's right.
footprint.
Yes.
Exactly. One gas guzzling Humvee limousine. A Hummazine, I
You
believe
would
they
really
call
go
it.
for a
Limousine.
Hummer?
Yes.
Ooh, that'd be so sick.
I mean,
A Hummer limo?
It'll be
Oh,
sick,
so
Grace.
sick.
Listen,
We need more space for our fucking giant egos.
and I got to stretch out. I like to stretch out while I drive or ride.
Right.
That's true.
Austin's tall. He needs a big vehicle.
I'm a big dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Balls in your court,
Plus,
Grace.
it'd be sick to just call one up and just be like, I just want to go for a drive.
Right.
Yeah.
You mean-
Chauffeur.
There's actually an older limo in our neighborhood that just sits in one
let's buy
spot.
that bitch.
It's not
Dude, we
long.
totally could.
It's not a long one. It's not like a stretch limo by any means, but it's a legitimate limo. And
Did we
it's,
start?
Do we look important in it?
I guess
Will we?
Yes.
if you, yeah.
Ooh,
We'll buy it.
can we trick it out, or should we just go like keep it simple and classy?
I want to put some sandbags on the back.
Why you want to
Lower it.
Yeah.
fucking
Yeah, lower
squat that
bitch.
thing?
Yeah.
Lower that bitch.
I want the logo on the side.
Yeah.
The-
Well, they're only a
With,
couple
like, some
streets
lightning.
over. If you want to go knock on their door, I'm sure they'll hear you out.
At this time of night? Hell
Definitely
Hey, we
not
gotta-
right now.
Hey guys,
No,
we
You'll get shot right now for sure.
that limo.
guys,
do
we had a crazy idea. What if we took your limo?
We'll give you access to the Patreon.
You know who we are? We are Murder Schmurder. Who the hell the fuck you
Get
got?
off
most-
my lawn.
The most irreverent podcast.
Get off
That's right.
my
What was that
fucking
website again?
lawn.
Rated by Last.fm. We are
Last.fm.
rated the most irreverent podcast.
That's
Don't forget.
Good to
If
know.
you agree,
That's-
go on Apple and give us 5 stars.
Or Spotify. Or anywhere you're
Spotify.
listening
Actually,
to your
we
podcast.
are right now streaming our or posting our podcast on Spotify. So if you want to support us the most without actually having to pay any money, maybe you're broke, maybe you don't have the resources, listening to our podcast, rating our podcast, engaging on the polls on Spotify actually does
Makes a big
help
difference.
us
Yeah.
make our goal to be able to monetize the podcast.
Yep.
Help
So
us
please.
help you.
It's free. It's easy. It'll take you 5 seconds. Just
Do
do
you
it.
want our stupid, nonsensical, hilarious voices in your ears? Then help us help you.
Put your phone on mute. Press play on the Spotify. Put it on charge overnight and just let it keep looping, man. God damn it. Help us out.
Yeah, start from
That's
episode
true.
1 and
We're doing
just
this shit for
play.
free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get bored with that? Go get your laptop. Do the same thing.
Yeah.
Your
Pick
mom's
up
got
a
a
friend's
computer?
phone.
Grab her computer.
Do
That's
both
right.
at the same time.
Scratch our back, we'll scratch yours, man.
Absolutely.
Come on.
Mhm.
Help a
All right.
brother out.
No, I'm bored of this. Love you guys.
Okay,
All right,
bye.
Like what you hear? Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Trashville_USA. And if there's a true crime story you want the gang to cover, email us at don'temailtrashville@gmail.com. Murder Schmurder is produced by Jamie. Our tracking engineer is Grant. And our mix and mastering engineer is Julie. Incidental music and our theme song is provided by Jules. This has been another production of